and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. I live on a 1.5 acre homestead in a double wide mobile home. Yes, I do. I am a senior citizen and I am working towards being a better homesteader, wife, and my senior years to be healthier and happier. You will find canning and gardening, um, pantry fillers, and so forth on my channel, along with health and wellness, which would be my diabetic journey. I'm using keto, paleo, and low carb to control my diabetes, and with without the medication, y'all. And this is a collaboration. It's called Plan to Can. It's hosted by the Miller Life Kitchen and Jeni Cow. Uh, I love Miss Jeni, and so I'm excited about this. There will be a live giveaway on March 3rd. First prize, y'all, is a pressure canner. Oh, how exciting! I love Yankee Bean Soup. I used to work in upstate New York in restaurants years ago. And Yankee Bean Soup was one of my favorite go-to lunches when I was working, or suppers, because it was quick and easy and filling. This recipe will have 187 calories per serving, which is about a cup, 26 carbs, 10 grams of fiber, and the net carbs is 13 or 16. The net carbs will be 16 because you minus your fiber from your carbs to get your net carbs. So this is a very doable low carb recipe for me. You will also use a 1-inch headspace on your jars. I'm using 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. You need to adjust your altitude for your recipe. Pints will be processed for 75 minutes. Quarts will be processed for 90 minutes. This recipe comes from the Grateful Girl Cooks. I'll get into the recipe in just a moment, but I want to share with you some of the tools that I will be using in this collaboration. Now, I don't have it out yet, but I'm using a 16-quart Presto pressure canner. It is a beginner-friendly canner that was gifted to me, and I absolutely love this canner, by the way. I'm going to be using a large stock pot, clean quart jars, or you can use clean pint jars. It's your preference. My canning lids are my flats. I'm going to show you because they're special. I'm not affiliated with these companies that I'm mentioning, but this one is one that I really highly recommend because they're reusable. Yes, they are. And they stay on your jars, y'all. I've got jars in my pantry with lids on there marked 2022, and they're still sealed. So these are the Tatler reusable lids and rings, and I'm going to show you what they look like. You would also make sure that you scald these and then keep them hot until you're ready to can. So it's a 2-piece. There's the little flat, and here's the little gasket that comes with it. So the gasket can be used up to 10 times. That's why they're reusable. And you can reorder the gaskets. They are made out of some sort of plastic, I will tell you that. But they work, and they're real easy to seal, and they're made in the USA. Yes. So I'll be using those. I will also be using some canning bands or rings, whichever one you want to call them. Also, make sure they're clean and ready to go. You want to make sure your sink and everything in your kitchen is clean and ready to go. Now for the recipe. I have doubled this recipe. And again, it is from the Grateful Girl Cooks. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. I'm going to use 2 pounds of dry navy beans, 3 quarts of water or chicken broth after I've rinsed and cooked and rinsed and drained my beans. I'm going to add 3 quarts of water back to the pot. 3 tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 large onions chopped about 1 pound, 10 stalks of celery chopped, 12 ounces of carrots sliced, 1 pound of ham in 1-inch pieces, 2 bay leaves, pepper, and 1 teaspoon of salt per quart, or a 1/2 teaspoon of salt per pint. Let's get cooking. beans to a boil. You remove from heat 1 hour, then you drain, return to pot if you're cooking them on top of your stove. Then you would simmer them for 45 minutes, cover, and then uncover for 15 minutes. We're going to add our celery, our carrots, our onions, and our garlic at this point because we've already cooked our beans. So in this bowl, I have already pre-chopped my 1 pound of onions and minced 3 tablespoons of fresh garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and get that into the pot. Did I mention this is a freezer clean out as well? I had ham in my freezer that needed to be used up, and so that is going to be my meat for the day. Let's go ahead and get our carrots in there. This was 12 ounces of carrots sliced. And this was 10 stalks, or actually it was a small head of celery, the whole stalk of celery. And I've chopped it up. We're going to let this cook for 15 minutes. I'm going to add in my 2 bay leaves. And I need to add in my ham. It did not say that, so let me get my ham in there. And we'll add the bay leaves. I'll remove the bay leaves before I can. So there is 1 pound of ham. This was probably from Christmas. Might have been from New Year's. I can't remember. And it was a spiral cut ham, so it's going to be delicious in here. It's a little dark because it's got the little bit of maple sugar or honey on the outside of it. But that's okay. This is going to be a terrific soup. 2 bay leaves. Now you can use peppercorns and bay leaves, put them into a cheesecloth or a tea ball and drop them in there, and that way you can remove them out that way. So we have quite a pot of soup going here. This is going to be a thick, hearty soup, I do believe. Yum, yum. And if I need a little more liquid, I'll heat up some water on the stove and add it to the top of my jars once I get everything into my jars. So give it a good stir. I'm also going to go ahead and add into the pot my salt and my pepper because I could put it in my jar, the salt, but if you know how many jars you're going to get approximately, you can go ahead and add your salt and your pepper. I'm using canning salt. Let me grab a bigger spoon. You know, this is for 6 quarts, so I'm going to go by that measurement. So it would be 1 teaspoon per quart or 2 tablespoons. I'm using a teaspoon measure. And this way I can taste the broth in a little bit and make sure that I have enough salt in there. Plus the ham is going to add a little bit of salt to it. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of pepper and probably a half teaspoon. So 1½ teaspoons of black pepper. All right, we're just about ready to go. My jars are hot, my canner's hot, my soup is hot. I've also oiled the rim of my canner. I've checked the peephole on my lid, and I've oiled my gasket. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill the jars about 2/3 full with the vegetables and the meat. And I usually tamper my jars first, just to be double sure that I am not getting what I don't need. And there's my second bay leaf. I need to pull that out. Make sure that your jars are really hot. When you tamper them, you have less chance of breakage. And I also pulled out an extra jar just in case I have enough to do the 7th jar, or a pint jar and it's ready to go. Sometimes the recipe will be off. Don't know why it happens, but it does. So about 2/3 full. Remember, your beans are probably not cooked all the way, and your vegetables aren't cooked all the way. So that's why you're not filling the jar up completely. And I'm eyeballing this. And it looks like I might get the 7th jar out of this. We'll see. Just be on the safe side. So now I'm going to backfill with the liquid to the 1-inch headspace, and then we're going to debubble our jars. Clean the rims with some 5% vinegar. Apply our lids and our bands. One thing about canning that I've learned is to work smarter, not harder. So that's my intentional living tip for you in this video. We are working smarter, not harder, because we have made sure that our canner is going to be full or close to as full as possible, giving us as much product as possible for our shelves. And y'all, I'm so glad that I have heated up that water, because I don't know if I'm going to have enough liquid for all of these. So we're going to put some of this liquid off of the vegetables into each of these jars. And whatever I have left over in my pot after I fill that 7th jar up, that's going to be my lunch. So I'll get it back on cooking. Because I do have quite a bit left in that pot. So we're going to go ahead and get this 7th jar back here. Get the hot water out of it and get it loaded as well. This is what I mean about sometimes recipes are off. I'm going to go ahead and pull some of this liquid off. And I'm going to go ahead and backfill my jars with the hot water. Let me grab a band. One finger on the Tatler lid. Drop your band on there. There we go. Make sure your lid's on correctly. Make sure your temperature is set on your sweet spot. On my electric stove, I have a special burner because my stove will burn out canning on it that I ordered online. My sweet spot is between 7 and 8. Now I'm going to let this come up to temperature. It's going to blow out a head of steam for 10 minutes. And then I'm going to put my weight on there, wait for it to start jiggling, and set my timer. These quarts will go for 90 minutes. If it was pints, it would go for 75 minutes. We'll be back when they're finished. And here we go. Here we go, here we go. Oh my. We have Yankee Bean Soup, folks. This is what's left over, folks. I had a bowl for lunch and that's what's left. Doesn't that look yummy? Oh my goodness. A little bit of parsley on the top. And here are our Yankee Bean Soups. They will continue to sit on the counter and cool off for 12 to 24 hours. Then I'll unband them, check the seals, get the jars washed and labeled, and get them into my pantry. We have 7 meals in jars, folks. This is Plan to Can, hosted by the Miller Life Kitchen and Jeni Gal. Don't forget, there's a live giveaway March 3rd. First prize will be a pressure canner. And the playlist will be in the description box below, along with a list of all of the content creators. Thank you for watching, and may you be fully blessed.